Hi everyone, today I am going to discuss with you Python interview question part 2, and in this part I am going to discuss with you Python list interview question. So here's the first question. What is the list in Python? Lists can hold different or similar data types. In Python, lists are written in a square bracket. We can fetch data from the list by passing index. We can update data stored in a list. We can insert and delete data from a list. The size will be automatically increase or decrease. Lists are mutable. This means we can add, remove or modify elements in a list. List is a collection which is ordered and changeable. It allows to duplicate members. List, the index starts from the 0. In list, each item is separated by commas. So here I want to explain to you everything in detail. As I mentioned, lists can hold different data type. So here I mentioned my list and I gave the first value is an integer, second value is a float, third one is a string and fourth value is a boolean. So in list we can give different data type, means list will accept the different data types, and after the execute it give me the all the 4 value. List also can accept the similar data type. Here I only mention the string value and after the execute it give me the string value. List also, in list we can fetch the data by passing index. Here I mention fruit list and I mention apple, strawberry value 20 and float value. Here the index in list index start from the 0. So when I passing the index 0, it gave me the first value is apple. When I passing index 1, it give me the value strawberry. When I passing index 3, it gave me the float value which is 94.89. List allows the duplicate members. So here if you see, I gave the mention place underscore list and I give the Orlando 2 times in my list. After the execute, it gave me the Orlando 2 times. So list is allowed to be accept duplicate members. Lists are mutable, means we can add, remove or modify elements in a list. Here I give the list and I mention the whole number as well. I mention the whole number and float values here. Here I mention index 3 which is give after the execute it give me the value 72.49. But I want to change that value in a different number. So first I gave the value in a float, but second time I want to change the value. So I gave the I index 3 and I want to change the value 24. After execute the program, it gave me the value 24 here. So list, in a list we can add, delete or modify the elements in a list. Question number 2 is, what are the list methods in Python? So Python in a list there are various methods. Few of them I mention in here. List.append method add element to the end of the list. List.insert method insert the specified value at the specified position. List.remove method removes the first occurrence of the element with a specified value. List.index method returns the position at the first occurrence of the specified value. List.pop method removes the element at the specified position. List.copy method creates a copy of the list. List.reverse method reverses the sorting order of the element. List.extend method adds the element to the end of the current list. Question number 3 is how to concatenate two lists in Python. So if we want to concatenate two different lists in Python, we have to use the plus operator. So here I mention example for that. I give list 1 and I give list 2 and when I say list 3, list 1 plus list 2, I concatenate with the plus operator, and after the execute it give me the whole list. So if you want to use two different list and concatenate with the plus operator in Python, you have to use the plus operator for that. Question number 4 is, what is the use of list in Python? List can be used the scenario where we have to store the value temporarily or store them in a longer period of time. List can also be used to keep track of useful website links and articles we want to read, and we can organize them in a different categories such as news stories, recipes, movies to watch list, or song playlist. Those kind of scenario we can use for the list in Python. Question number 5 is, what is a value error in Python list? So index method raises the value error if specified value is not found in the list. I gave the example for that. I mentioned my list. I mentioned in my list the integer, float, and the string as well as boolean value. And here when I call this method list.index method, I gave the value 59. Since 59 is not mentioned in my list, it gave me the value error that 59 is not found in the list. So we have to use index method for that, and the specified value is not found in a list, it give the value error. Question number 6 is, what is the index error in Python list? Each item in Python list can be accessed by using index number. In a list, the index starts from the 0. When we try to access an item in a list using index that is out of range, it will throw the error. It's called index error. List index is out of range. So here I give the example for that. I mentioned fruit and I give the 3 value here. When I'm passing the index 0, it gave me the value apple. The first one is because in list the index start from the 0. When I'm passing the index 2, it gave me the value grapes, the second value, because index start from the 0 in Python list. I'm trying to passing the index 3, but here since index 3 is not available in my list, it giving me the index error. List index is out of range. So that time it will throw the index error. So the value since is not present or index 3 is not present in my list, it is showing the index error. Question number 7 is, how to fix index error in Python list? We need to use the length of the list as a range function parameter that returns a range of specified item starting from 0. So here I give the example for that. I mention fruit and I give the 3 values in my list. When I'm passing in value when I passing the index 3, it is giving me the index error. Since in list the index start from the 0, so 0, 1 and 2. And since the value 3 is not available in my list, it is giving me the index error. So how to fix those issues or how to fix this error? So for that I have to use the range function. I mention here for I in a range and I give the len function. I put the value of my list is a fruits and after execute it give me the 3 value. So if we want to fix the index error, we have to use the range function in Python. Question number 8 is, how to add new element in a list? So there are 3 methods to add the new elements in a list. First one is a insert method, second one is a append method, and third one is a extend method. Here I give the example for that. I mention the list insert method. I gave the list one, and when I call list.insert method and I use the value 7.9, after the execute it shows the 7.9 is added in my list. Here I use the list.append method. I'm trying to list call this method list dot append method. When the value 4 after the executing program, it the value 4 is added in my list. Third one is the list dot extend method. Here I gave the one list, and here I mentioned list dot extend method, and I gave some value list, and then after the execute it will be added in my list. So if you want to add new element in a list, there are three methods: insert, append, and extend. Question number 9 is, what is the difference between append method and extend method in a list? So list.append method only takes exactly one argument or add only single element at the end of the list. But list.extend method can be add multiple elements to the end of the list. So here I give the example for that. I mentioned list.append method. Here you see only one value is added, which is 4. But in list.extend method, I give multiple value here, and after execute the program, it shows all the three new value added in my list. So we have to understand that list.append method only single element add at the end of the list, and list.extend method we can add multiple element to the end of the list. Question number 10 is, what is a nested list in Python? Nested list means list inside the list, and here I mentioned the example for that. I gave the list, and inside that I mentioned another small list. When I call the list index 0, it gave me the value 1. Since in a list the index start from the 0, so 0 value is a 1. It gave me value 1. But when I pass the index number 3, which is this one, and after the execute it gave me the value 3 here. So nested list is nothing but the list inside the list. Question number 11 is, how to delete item from list. So to delete something from the list, we have to use the pop method, or we have to use the del keyword. So here I give the example for that. I mention list.pop method, and then when I'm trying to I pass the index 0, and when after the execute, it shows me the 95 value is not printed, since in list the index start from the 0. So 0th index is a 95, and I use the list.pop method, and that's why 95 value is not printed after the execute of the program. Here I mentioned del keyword, and I mentioned del list, and I gave the index 3, which is this one, since in Python list index start from the 0. So after the execute of the program, it is not printed the index 3. So if you want to delete the value or from the list, we have to use the pop method, or we have to use the del keyword. Question number 12 is, how to update the item from list. Lists are mutable. That means we can add, remove, or update the elements in a list. So here I mentioned the example for that. I mentioned the list, and I gave the list value index number 3, which is giving me after the execute of the program 72.49, since the index start from the 0. I try to change that value, and I say I pass the index 3, and I gave the different value. Here I mentioned the value 24. After execute the program, it give me the new value 24 here. So in list we can add, update, or remove the elements in a list, since list is a mutable. Question number 13 is, how to calculate length of the list. To calculate length of the list, we have to use the len function, and here I mentioned the example for that. I give the len function, and mention my list name, and here it give me the value 4. Since there are 4 items in my list, so the length of the list is a 4. Question number 14 is how to use slice function in a list. In Python, slice function returns a slice object in a list, and here I mention a example for that. Here I mention num underscore list, and I give some numbers here in my list. When I using the in a list 1:4, it is only take the value 1, 2, 3. The fourth value is not printed after the execute of the program. Since in a Python list the index start from the 0, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Since I mentioned 1:4, the value 1 to 3 is printed after the execute of the program. Here when I mention :6, it is only printed the value 0 to 5. Since the in Python list index start from the 0, so it is started from the 0 value till 5. 6 value is not printed after execute the program. Here when I mention :2, then after the value 2, it is printed all other values. See, it is not able to print the 0 or first value. It is start from the value second to print after the execute of this program. When you print the colon, it is print whole list. So this way the slice function is work in Python list. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, please subscribe my channel. Thank you.